Meet two friends who are like Kathy. Meet their friends after the meeting. The friends go home to repent and plan to go back to shopping New York City. But their budget is tight, and they decide to take a summer job at an organic farm to remedy that situation. For record, Jason, he's working as a detective. Jason lives with his girlfriend Jam. They offer to let the girls sleep over before they go to work. The next day, Jason drops them off at the station where they're waiting for the bus. Jason asks them to call him every day, but it's easier for Katie to text him back. Then Jason suggests they make up a code word at the end of each message that means they're okay. Those words agree with him. Jason explains that the code will consist of the words umbilical cord in order for each day. The friends decide to go to a restaurant in the neighborhood where the word needs privacy in the bathroom while eating and getting to know two guys, Jed and Lucas. Word joins their conversation. Girls don't trust strangers to hide their find out that Katie and Word will be working at the farm to pay for the trip to the store, and they offer to take them to the farm. Katie gets feel like something's a bad idea, but the salon they convince her it's okay. The newfound company moves into the guy's pickup truck as if Katie had noticed that, yet's taking them down a different road, not going to the farm. They both start to feel something wrong with that. For support, they held each other's hands and a feeling of fear coursed through their bodies. Jet says they'll be here soon to find out where they're going. Gets Lucas invite them to their home because their mother welcomes them, and in a word, the welcoming mother serve her guests, treating them with a delicious homemade cake and tea. Sometime later, the summing Crete find out that they've been drugged and they run out of the boys' house. The mother order Lucas Jed to chase down the girls before they get to the highway. The sleeping pills kicked in. Passed out, the guys drag them home. The next day, they wake up in a shipping container in red, and a blue-colored jet setter rushes over rifle and gives them clothes. Sometime later, a man appears by named Fearful with curiosity about the two girls. The two girls, Boris finds out that as if they told them fake names, then checks their cell phone and notices that she was using the code word apple at the end of every text message she sent to her uncle. Boris used the same code word and text to Jason and assure that those watch words are okay. They're having fun and having a good time cooking jam together in the kitchen. Attention to a text message from Katie that's sent to Jason's cell phone. Then a sheriff named Angel shows up with a gun in his hand, and the girls relax to think that he's come to arrest the Jedi. Lucas, like Katie, run to him and beg him to help them, but it turns out he's in league with their abusers. He laughs and tells Jed that the girls are very attractive. It's hard to choose between them. Jed suggests that he to take one of the grandchildren's girls. He wants them both. Sheriff Andrews, pants on, pants off, out of the container. Katie, the elephant, comes in to comfort friend and say it won't be long to get out of here anytime soon. Jason's a cupcake, and he notices that Casey used the same word at the end of each message when they agreed to send different words at the end of each message. Jenna thinks that he doesn't have to worry about little things like that. She tells him that the girls have a lot of work to do and they've simply forgotten about, but Jason senses that there's something's wrong. The container's coming up. The man's cigarettes. The purpose is obvious. He's a fresh body taster. He picks out Sloane and drags her into the container where the scrap spits in his face. In a fit of rage, he punches her in the face and rapes him by putting out his cigarette and her belly button. Frightened, Katie hears her friend screaming. Her friend screams and sits outside, and the Onion stands by and watches her. Jason calls the organic farm and finds out that the girls haven't been there. Germ has packed her things because they'd arranged to meet her mother. She thinks Jason's overprotective of the girls, but Katie is an adult and they'll be fine. Jason apologizes to her and cancels the meeting with her parents, which is the word she hears. A very strange Jade and Lucas cover up. The girls' faces are covered. A man appears wearing a mask, a pig on his face. His choice falls on the words. He closes it in a container and locks the door. Later, the man leaves again, goes to the word. She assures him that everything will be all right. Meanwhile, Jason heads to the station police to report the missing of her friend's niece. He is met by Sheriff Idris, who works there. Jason tells the sheriff that the girls never showed up at the farm and then they didn't send specific code words reports that they're all right. The sheriff in the truck tells Jason that will go to the farm and ask about the girl. He also assures him that he'll look into the case and will let him know as soon as he finds the axle and the words for Boris returns. He tells Katie that she didn't follow the guys to him from the text messages, then he talks to the same dump as these guys. Overhears their conversation and she finds out that they're going to throw to these words out of town like they did with the other girls before. He says the same thing the FBI needs. Will be coming around to check out this place. Also, he tells him that there will bring the new girls off the bus who will be there the next morning. Jason goes to the restaurant near the bus station where the girls were having lunch. He asks the manager of the rental place. The manager says he saw the girls with two guys and they were talking about an organic farm and the girls were pretty comfortable with the guys. They left together at the fall pickup life. Ask him if he looked like these words scared, but the receptionist assures me that everything was fine and the girls weren't agitated. The receptionist says the pickup truck had a bumper sticker. There was a bumper sticker that said "My second ride, your mom." Jason thanks the receptionist and leaves the restaurant. Katya tells her friend about that. She overheard a conversation between Boris and Jed. Cupcakes assures her friend that she will find a way to get out of here. Boris gets there. Buddy looks at the girls. Jed and Paris leaves to pick up a new batch of girls from the bus station. They ask their buddy to keep an eye on Katya. Ask him about where the girls went, Boris, but he refuses to give them any pharmacy, then drink and starts seducing him by getting very close to his neck. She kisses him and then bites his neck. After a fatal bite, the man doesn't survive. To these end, as if to free from the handcuffs and shackles, Sheriff Andrews arrives at the container. At the brothel, he finds the corpse of his buddy, then visits the register and breaks down. Steals his car on the way to Katie and Sloane as a couple of voting girls on the road. They see them as potential victims. They decide to get revenge on the guys who tortured and raped them so they wouldn't do it to anyone else. They go to a hardware store and buy a lot of guns to take out old Jason. Goes to the car insurance company and discovers that the Blue Peak belongs to no one. Boris. Then he asks for Boris' address. Boris comes home unexpectedly, meets like three. They don't get lost, they attack him sharply. On him. Ties her to the table. Boris offers them money, but they're not, attracts them and they kill him. Arrives at Boris' house and finds him dead. Meanwhile, the girls take a pickup truck and drive off. They drive off to the police station. Tries to call Spice, discovers her cell phone is in the pocket. Sheriff Andrew, who points a gun at him. With a gun. So Sloane goes to the church. They run into a man wearing a pig mask, who's been tortured and raped by a man turns out to be a pastor. He's stunned. They chain him up to a pickup truck. They drive to a store. When they arrive, he's reciting of the biblical elements and threatens them with revenge. Katie buys matches. They douse the posters with incendiary lighter fluid posters and sets the poor sheriff on fire. Andrew has Jason tied up in a chair and is keeping him in his room. He tells him that the girls will find his corpse. He puts on some music and leaves the room. A couple hours later, he brings new girls, but just as he is about to go to class with them and the Sloane stunned him with a baseball bat. They tie him to a chair and he tries to offer them money. The girls laugh at his offers. Threatens him. With a gun, he apologizes to them, but Katie shoots him in the head and then the girlfriends go off telling their story to the other girls. They release Jason. 3 words gets to Lucas' mom and tie her to a chair. They do to her, just like she did to them, too. Tie up the Jedi and show the bound son and his mother. The mother begs the girls to let them go, but obsessed with revenge. Repent and the service kills them before with a baseball bat. They beat him to death right in front of his mother. The mother screams in grief as she watches her son beaten to death. The girls tell her that they turned them into monsters. Then the Sloane takes her to another room, where she's Lucas's girl asking Lucas to hit her with a baseball bat. his own mother or they'll shoot him. Lucas, like a loving son, refuses to do it, so the elephant doesn't hesitate, shoots him in the head. Kitty asks him the words to become Lucas' fingerprints on the gun to set it up as a suicide. The mother tells them that they'll never leave here, and the safe on the wall tells them the place keeps all their money, but like this. Takes a trimmer and kills the mother's word to these words, feeling satisfied after of killing his abusers. Jason, as if nothing had happened, bring you home where meets Katie's mother.